invited along to, I guess, give a little bit of a new perspective on what it's like to be a trustee. And I suppose to talk to you with the new elections in mind, because we are looking for trustees to put themselves forward for this year. And I suppose just to give some reassurance that I guess if I can do it, anyone can do it. I've got a few people who will come along to support me tonight, and that's really important that they're here because it will form part of my journey as to why I decided to become a trustee. I've got my parents with me, but more importantly I've got Alison and Jenny with me. And for those of you who will know my journey, you'll have heard me talk about Ian. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Ian tonight, because that's what started my journey into wanting to be a trustee. So, a little bit about me. Pretty run-of-the-mill, really. I'm Charlotte, Char to my friends and family. And I first became involved with the Motor Neurone Disease Association in 2013. It's a background that many of you would relate to. I got a call one day from my best friend, Alison's other daughter Danielle, who can't be with us tonight. She also works in the NHS and couldn't get away. And she told me that her father, Ian, had received a diagnosis of MND. So I knew what MND was, or at least I thought I did. The family had had some experience of a close friend with MND previously, and I'd heard a little bit about that. And I guess I'd also seen the DIY SOS with Eric on some years ago. So that makes you an expert, doesn't it? I know it all. I know what it is. Don't worry about it. It's fine. But of course, I had some questions. And I had some questions that I didn't feel at the time comfortable in asking the family because you don't want to intrude, you don't want to upset. And so I came across the Motor Neurone Disease Association website and I started to educate myself. And I guess two things happened. I started to learn a bit, and this. Let's see. What was I thinking? I have no idea. So basically, this is not a shower cap. It's actually tinsel. And this was me responding to, I don't know what to do, but I need to help in some way. And in December 2013, I took on my first Santa dash, so it's not how I normally dress. And off I ran 5 kilometres and thought, yeah, you know what? You can raise a bit of money, and if you raise a bit of money, you can make a bit of a difference and you can help people out. So I started to get involved by doing a bit of fundraising, doing a bit of running, and I did it for this man. So there he is, the main man, him there in the middle. And I guess what I would say to you is it's still extremely raw. We lost Ian in December. An amazing man, husband, friend, father, grandfather. He wasn't somebody who came here to this branch, that wasn't for him. But whenever I went home from the branch and I saw him, he'd say to me, how'd you get on? I'd say, oh, we talked about this, or oh, we talked about that. And he'd say, you're a diamond, you. That was his words to me, you're a diamond, you. So it kind of led to this. I've done all kinds of crazy things. Anyone I think were related to Greg with those eyes in that picture over there. But this is the stuff that gets you involved. I have to say, for me it's been about asking people to sponsor me, to get that support, to get that awareness. But the feel and the support that you get from your family and friends when you're doing all of this, and the satisfaction that you get, made me feel that I wanted to do more. Some of you that use social media, etc., will have seen me tweet Team Sykes. Team Sykes is now a thing. We're a thing. This group of people, and Team Sykes is much more than these group of people, but this is the crazy bunch that are doing it, so knock out with me on the 3rd of June, including Alison and Jenny. God only knows what that's going to be like, but this is our pledge and the way that we want to do things. So I thought to myself, you know, I've got some skills. Running isn't one of them. but I've got some skills. Can I use them in a different way? So when it came up last year about, do you want to be a trustee? This happened. The picture we all got fed up of seeing. I literally got fed up of seeing it because at the same time as Greg was pushing this out on social media and it was landing on the doorstep in thumbprint, it was also being used quite widely at work for staff award ceremonies. So every time I opened a door or opened a computer, there I was. But actually, I was quite clear that I had a passion for wanting to do something about it. Was that enough? It probably was. But I had some skills that I thought I could use. I wasn't really sure whether they wanted those skills or not, but you know, I knew that there was something that I thought I could do a little bit more about. So I approached Alison and Ian in the first instance and said, I'd like to be a trustee. You're members of the association, would you support me? Of course they did, and then I got the branch support that sat behind that, and I was absolutely delighted when I could make the phone call to them last year to say that I'd been selected to be a trustee and to take forward the work of the Motor Neurone Disease Association. So, what do we do? Well, trustees, there's an elected bunch. I'm one of them, Lindsay's one of those, and we're elected by you guys. You know that, you've probably seen the process year in, year out. There's 10 of us, and this is a picture, a most recent picture of all the thumbs up. Lindsay wasn't around for that picture on that day, but we get a 3-year term of office, and we can serve a maximum of 2 terms, and we're re-elected in the middle. Alongside that, there are some co-opted trustees. They are trustees who, as a body, we decide that we may well need. So, for example, it's really important that we have somebody with financial skills to support us with looking through accounts, etc. And this gentleman on the end here, Dr. Nick Sharma, consultant neurologist, really important to have his expertise to support us as a board of trustees. And then we have the chair, who is elected, and we are going through that process as we speak to be confirmed through the AGM this year. So, there's kind of the practical stuff, and then there's the formal stuff. So if you fancy being a trustee, the practical side of it is you'll need to attend the Board of Trustee meetings. There's officially 4 of them, but if you count the AGM, it's kind of 5. They're residential and overnight, so we commence Friday and run into Saturday. I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. And then we're also encouraged, although it's not compulsory, to support one of the additional committees that sit underneath the operation of the board. And again, there are a number of different committees, and you can choose where your skill set or where your interest best sits. So if you've no interest or no desire whatsoever to talk about finance, then you really don't have to join the finance committee. It's not compulsory. There are some duties of a trustee. I suppose this is the formal bit I talked about. So, to be a trustee, there are a number of things that we need to do and be. So we have to satisfy the public benefit test and comply with the governing documents and the law. So essentially they've got to check that we are fit and proper people to do those roles, to govern the organisation, and to make sure that we've got kind of nothing sat there that's going to prevent us from doing that. That we can act with the right care, and ensure that the board, the directors, are accountable for the decisions that people take. Who can do it? My view is anyone. You have to take into consideration a number of things. Time commitment's one of them, so you're giving your time. A genuine interest in supporting MND. And you know, that can come from anywhere. It comes from here, it comes from here, it comes because you're genuinely interested. Comfortable in speaking up or asking questions. I suppose there are times as trustees where you kind of, I don't get that, I don't understand what's going on there, or are we doing that the right way? So it's not big kind of, can I just challenge you on the Article 7 of the page 3 of it? That's not what it's like. It's, can I just ask a question, why do we do it that way? Or is there an opportunity to think about doing something different? An eagerness to learn. So none of us go into that room knowing everything. Some will have different experiences to others. But actually, if you've got the passion, I guess, and the genuine interest, you'll want to learn anyway. And happy to get involved. So we talked before about the various regional conferences and the AGMs. I suppose just be happy to go along, talk to people, find out about their experiences, and learn from that. A typical board meeting. So we commence on a Friday evening around 4 or 5 o'clock, and it normally starts with a presentation. This is where we can give some time to really meaty topics. So this board meeting just gone, it was research, and Brian Dickey gave us a great presentation on where things are up to with the research agenda, so we can understand where the resource is being put and what might be coming. The time before it was finance, because it's the timing of the end of year accounts, and it would have been too late to leave it to the February board meeting. The formal meeting concludes around 7, and then we're up and ready to start again for 9 o'clock the following morning, and we conclude around 2. It's kind of full on, and I've brought this with me today just because I wanted you to, I suppose, get an appreciation of where it starts. So where it starts is that lands on your doorstep about a week before, and for those of you that are either a trustee now or have done the trustee role before, that will be familiar. There isn't an expectation that you read that front to back and memorise it and be able to recite it. There is an expectation that you have a knowledge of what's in these papers, and that for the particular areas that you may sit on the committees for or that you've got a genuine interest in, that you are able to read those papers and challenge and ask questions and approve the things that are being asked for during those meetings. It's led by the director team. So those board meetings, it's Sally and the director team that deliver the papers and the updates. And it's for the board of trustees then, the wider trustees, to, I suppose, support the decision making, approve the direction of travel, ask questions, suggest alternatives, but come to a consensus in that room. And I've put the role of the board in there. I'm sure for a number of you that's familiar, but I suppose the board is responsible for ensuring that the strategy is set for the organisation, and then what we do throughout the course of the year, or however long that strategy is for, feeds into the delivery of that. So if all of a sudden we start doing a project over here and everybody's scratching their head going, well, how does that fit into the overall strategy? Then it's about having a conversation that says, is there a reason why we've gone off-piste, I guess, or actually can we pull it into the overall strategy and where we're supposed to be going? Committees. As an elected trustee, you get to choose which committee you would like to go on. I chose governance. I'm not really sure how that happened. I suppose it's where I thought my skill set would be best utilised with my background. Co-opted trustees are elected to meet the membership requirements. So we talked before about needing specific trustees with finance skills or perhaps medical skills, and they would be aligned to specific committees to support the work. So we have finance and audit, does what it says on the tin, finance. We have governance, which looks at the effectiveness of the board and how we're operating as an organisation. We have engagement, that looks predominantly at the recruitment of our volunteers and the strategies that support all of that. And then we have care, which looks at the wider strategy, the care centre applications, and making sure that we're doing everything to deliver against that strategy in delivering that care. We have a couple of panels, I'll pop them in there. Lindsay, you're a member of one of them, aren't you? But I guess the panels are slightly different in that they are about driving particular parts of the organisation as opposed to the wider strategy piece that sits underneath it. We are driven by a Charities Act, so we have to all sign official pieces of paper. But that's about our declaration to say that whilst we are in that role as a trustee, we've got the best interests of the charity at heart, and we make sure that it's run in a way that's fair, that's equitable, and I suppose it's meeting the needs of the people that it's there to support. Why be a trustee? That's why. That's me. I'm the main man. It's here for me. It starts here, and it's because I want to make it different, I want to make it better. I want to be part of a charity and an organisation that means that the people that are living with MND and the families that are supporting the people that are living with MND, caring for those people, get the care and support that they need, but that we can put the investment in the right place that means at some point, because it will happen, we will have that all-important cure, and I want to be part of that organisation that does that. So for me it starts here. It might end up here, because I'm driving it from a very different place now, being part of that trustee group, but it starts here. So I suppose I'd encourage you, if you think you've got that skill set, if you can feel it here and you know it there, give it a go. They're not a scary bunch, they will help you. The way that the trustee role works is that people are coming in at all different times. So there's people who are ready to finish their 6 years. Well, how much of a support and how great have they been for me to learn the ropes? There are people that are a couple of years in, and I'm just starting off on my journey. But if it's here for you, and this is the kind of stuff that you're interested in doing, then I would really encourage you. We've already got 2 trustees from this branch, why not have a third? And that's me. So if anybody's got any questions or any comments, then please do speak up, but thank you for listening.
So if anybody wants to ask it, well, if you're interested, obviously with 2 trustees in the room, we've also got 2 past trustees, which is Barbara and Sue here. So if anybody's got any questions they want to ask, you know, we have 4 excellent people to talk to. Right.